So we have a few injuries to talk about today, and let's just kind of dive right in. Antoine, what do we got?
All right, we're going to start off as Tyler just ended the last segment on with Jalen Johnson. He's undergoing, will undergo season-ending surgery to repair a torn labrum in his left shoulder, and he is expected to make a recovery for the start of the next season as well. So he'll be back, ready to go next season, presumably if the Hawks don't make the playoffs. Their season will be short-lived. If not, maybe he can come back, but I'm sure most likely not. This was Jalen Johnson's best year so far, I think, in his career. He's averaging almost 20 points a game, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in 36 games so far. Almost half the season, but not quite. This is probably their second best player on their team besides Trae Young, and they're losing him. A lot of scoring, a lot of rebounding. A guy that put up some triple-doubles this season. And this means they need a better front court guy alongside, I guess,
Capella. But
they
might move off of him.
Yeah, it's tough. But what do we think? This is a player that's had two really notable injuries last year and this year. Missed a lot of time.
That's really a shame.
Yeah.
What do we think's going on?
I'm heartbroken, man. He was so close to being an all-star if he didn't hurt himself. He would have got in without a doubt.
Wasn't he like a what's it called? Most improved player?
He was a finalist last year. He was heavy favorite on the odds this year.
That's
so, and now he's going to be ineligible. So I guess it really is Cade's to lose now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy enough as it is, but he was playing so well. I mean, in the NBA Cup specifically, he rose up to the occasion and really gave Trae Young the help he needed. And now the Hawks are left in a very precarious situation where I don't think they have the Pelicans pick this year, but the Spurs have your pick. The Spurs also need a backup center. Maybe give them Capella for your own pick back. I don't think the Spurs would do that, but if you could find a way to try and get your own pick back, because this season's falling apart for them very fast, I would do it. Because you've already lost 8 of your last 10 games, like I mentioned earlier, and it's only going to get worse from here because I really can't see a situation where the Hawks should compete, and there's no use for being mid because what is that going to do for you? You don't have a pick to begin with anyways. You're not going to really do much, but I guess just kind of take the year, let Shea develop as best as he can, and kind of just go from there. But what do you think?
No, I agree 100%. Let Shea develop as best as he can. You know, that was the number one pick, right?
Number one pick, won the lottery.
Give him time, give him, as many shots as possible, give him the ball in his hands as much as possible, let him grow, let him make mistakes, let him develop. So I think even though this is a negative, you can turn it into a positive with, Shea. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But when it goes to Jalen Johnson, when it comes with him, very unfortunate injury, shoulder injury. I mean, at least he's not pitching. Usually if your pitcher gets a shoulder injury, that's more scary.
It is his shooting side, though.
It is his shooting side.
It's his labrum, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, I think his recovery will be good. He'll be fine, and it's not going to be something that bothers him for the remainder of his career, which is good. Like if it's a knee injury, ankle injury, like those things are even more scary.
Those are load bearing.
Yeah. So this is at least that's the positive.
The only thing you might just lose some flexibility, but I would try and get that back as fast as possible, right?
For sure.
So how long do you think that process would take?
Getting back his flexibility?
Yeah.
Like probably 8 weeks maybe.
Oh, okay, that's not as bad as I thought.
Around that, yeah. So I think he should be fine. He should be fine.
I also looked at the future draft picks for the Atlanta Hawks. They have their own pick next year. However, this year their pick goes to the Spurs. It's unprotected. The pick they have from Sacramento is protected top 12, and they probably will get the pick, but you're still running the risk of it not happening because if the Kings don't make the playoffs or they get eliminated in the play-in and they fall even a few spots forward in the lottery, that pick goes to them. And yeah, it's going to be a mid to late first round pick most likely. Mm-hmm. And you have a 2025 first round pick from the Lakers, but obviously they have Luka Doncic. Now they're at least going to be in the playoffs.
Right.
So you're looking at another late first. So you really can't tank and you really can't compete. So I don't really know what their plan is. Like there's really nothing they can do.
Yeah.
So
man, what do you do as a player? Like if you're in a situation like that where you can't really compete, but you're also obviously you can't tank. So as a player, what do you do?
The players never want to tank.
Right.
It's always a front office decision because a lot of times when teams are tanking, maybe one player, if they're lucky, is on the team 5-6 years down the line. Usually the whole roster's overhauled.
Right.
Like we saw, Joe Harris went through 116 teammates from the time he signed with the Nets to the time he got traded to the Pistons.
Yeah.
Like he was the one player that survived everything. But, you know, a lot. If you look at that roster around him, D'Lo didn't even make it to the Kyrie KD. LeVert got traded a year in. Allen got traded a year in. A lot of these guys come in and out. So these players are just trying to play for contracts and play for
Right.
money. And, you know, you get in situations where you got younger guys trying to find their footing in the league. You have guys like Cam Johnson who's going to try and go to a contender by playing at his tip-top game. So if you're looking at the Hawks, you're still going to play your butts off every night.
Yeah.
There's no excuse.
Yeah, they have to.
Man, it's so tough because the whole injury bug thing, that's a real thing.
It really
like
is.
when you see your teammate go down, like that stays in your brain, like that stays in your mind, and then if you're thinking about injuries or even subconsciously thinking about injuries, the chances of you getting injured yourself increases a lot. So
Right.
the injury bug is a legit thing, and so I just hope that the team stays healthy, and I hope that they continue to play for each other. Instead of playing for themselves and, you know, their own contracts, which, you know, that's a good thing to do.
Right.
But I find that the successful teams, they play for each other rather than playing for their own contract. So
I
we'll
think-
see how that goes.
Would you make the argument that playing for each other essentially gets everyone contracts? Like Chris
Yeah.
Paul gets his guys paid. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think by just working together, I mean, a lot of these guys are going to get contracts. They really don't have many scrubs on that team at all.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of unfortunate. And obviously, we wish Jalen Johnson a very speedy recovery.
Yeah.
We hope he's okay.
He'll be good.
And you know what? For a third year in a row, Bro is going to be in the most improved conversation. So he might be the only player to be in the odds like for his entire career.
Yeah.
And him and Norman Powell. So we wish him the absolute best.
I love Norman Powell, but
He's addition by subtraction. So yeah, there you go. That's what the Hawks have to do from now, I guess.
yeah.